Greetings, it's an honor to be with you today. And today I want to talk to you under the title Circle Up. All right, let's circle up right quick. Now, the first thing that we're going to look at is the separation. I'm in the book of Matthew, chapter 26, verses 36 to 38. And I want you to hear this. It says, Then cometh Jesus with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and said unto the disciples, Sit ye here while I go pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then said he unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. Now the significance of what we're sharing today is contingent on the fact that our Lord understood a circle. And I believe that as we move forward in 2024 and beyond, we've got to be aware of who's around us. Now, first of all, if you read a couple verses earlier, you'll find out that the other eight were left pretty much at the entrance of Gethsemane with the instructions of sit here. Come on now. Jesus has come to the Garden of Gethsemane, and he's come for some intimate time, of course, for those that he cares about in his last moments. And he tells the first eight only, as Judas is going to do what he does quickly, right? He tells that eight only to sit here. That's it. He gives them no other instructions. But when it comes to Peter, James, and John, who we consider the inner circle, and obvious by our Lord's actions they were, he says to them, listen now, sit here while I go and pray yonder. No, so I'm sorry, getting ahead of myself. That sit here while I go and pray yonder was what he actually said to the first eight. All right? That was actually their instructions. Y'all sit here and chill. Now, verse 37 is what he says to Peter, James, and John. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. So I want you to take note of that also. Not only does he give that eight the instructions to just sit here, y'all chill, we be back, right? He says to Peter, he then begins to really show his true self and his true agony in the moment with Peter, James, and John. In other words, he begins to be vulnerable before them, and that's so noteworthy. And our Lord is showing us that we can be vulnerable with everybody. And you can appreciate this knowledge if you don't know who's in your circle. Oh boy, it gets deeper, y'all. It says, Then says he unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. So now here, catch this now. The eight were given the instructions only to sit here, just chill, we coming back. But Peter, James, and John not only begins to see our Lord's true agony, but he expresses it out of his mouth. Look here, I'm sorrowful unto death. This one is really stressing me out. I'm really feeling it. I'm going through it. He is so vulnerable. You know, words could probably allow them to guess what he was going through, but he took it a step further and he expounded to them. Look here, man, I'm sorrowful unto death. But he didn't just leave them with that. He told them, this is what I need you to do for me. I wonder if you're listening today. We're circling it up. We're reevaluating our circles because we understand that destiny is at hand. And in order for us to reach destiny and what God has for us, we need to have the right people in place. I don't care how long you knew them. I don't care what they did for you. The objective of the day is, what have you done for me lately? So he says to them, tarry ye here and watch with me. In other words, I need you to be here with me in this moment, but I don't need you to just be here. I need you to watch with me. Now, we understand that to mean that he was saying, look here, I need you to pray with me. Not just pray with me, but I need you to watch and pray. I don't know if you understand the significance of watching and praying. And we need people around us that are not just going to pray, but they're going to watch with us. The watching is another aspect. And one may wonder, how can you actually watch and pray? Because we're under the assumption that when you pray, you got to have your eyes closed, right? I don't know. That's what we were taught in preschool and Sunday school, that when you pray, bow your head, close your eyes. But the observant spiritual one understands that even while you pray, the enemy is setting entrapments. He is trying to distract you or detract from what God is trying to do in your life. So you don't need just those that can pray. Thank God for them. But you need some people that are going to watch with you for the attack of the enemy. Because the enemy is not going to bow out or stop attacking because you're in a prayer posture. But even then, he wants to snuff you out. All right? So this is something we've got to consider, especially in our inner circle. I know we're going to have our outer circle like the 8 that you're not going to give much assignment to. You're just going to say, you all just chill over there. But for that inner court, that needs to be fortified. Those walls of the inner court need to be fortified with people that will pray and people that will watch. Now we're going to move on to the affirmation. Listen to Luke chapter 22 verses 41 to 44. It says, and he was withdrawn from them about a stone's cast, and kneeled down and prayed, saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. Now, before we get to verse 43, I want to point out especially that even though you have your inner court, there are some places that they can go with you. There are some places folk can go with us. And that's into the throne room. When we enter that place with our one-on-one with God, like how Jacob wrestled with the angel, when we do our initial or our actual wrestling with God, it's a one-on-one thing. But it's comforting to know that you got people outside the gate that are petitioning and watching on your behalf. So he says, so he went a stone's throw, so he went some further away from them, and he kneeled on him and he began to pray, and he began to petition God on behalf of this cup that he was about to partake of. And although he was in agony and he wished that it would pass, he succumbed to the will of God when he says, nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. And it says, and there appeared an angel unto him from heaven, strengthening him, and being in agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was as it were great drops of blood falling down to the ground. So we get to see, after him succumbing to the will of God, God then affirms him by way of an angel coming and ministering unto him and strengthening him for the journey ahead. And it's just like God. I don't know what you're facing today or what's on the horizon for you, but understand that you're not going alone. Even though your inner court may not be able to go into the initial battle with you, even as they stand outside the gates of your warfare, know that God is going to affirm you. He's going to strengthen you for the journey ahead. So I just want to encourage somebody. It's time to circle up. It's time to reevaluate, even as you march on in 2024 and beyond. Who do I really have riding with me? Who is in the circle next to me? Because in some instances, you may have to do some swapping between the 8 and the 3. Because some people that you thought were your prayers and your watchers, that are watching for your soul, that are your destiny helpers, a word that we're familiar with, they may have to be swapped out because they're really not up to task. But I challenge you to circle up.